So are you living with a constant need to fix your life and your appearance? If that sounds like something that you struggle with, then this video is for you. So today, it's day 6 in the series that I have prepared after leaving my 15-year corporate career. I'm just sharing some things that I'm passing through, some things that I'm experiencing, hoping that somewhere out there in the world, someone might find this relevant or helpful or useful. So today, obviously, the topic is, why do we have this need to fix our life and to fix our appearance? And how can we feel comfortable in our own skin as people? Before delving into this topic, I want to take a moment to really meditate and reflect on why is it that many of us, including myself, sometimes we don't feel comfortable in our own skin. What does it mean to feel comfortable in your own skin? To answer that question, we need to realize what's happening in our lives when we go about our day-to-day lives, when we go out into the world, interact with the people we love, our families, our friends, our coworkers, strangers on the street. Obviously, in such situations, our mind, which is a very powerful faculty, a very powerful organ in our bodies, is always coming up with words and assumptions and thoughts. And it's always projecting on the world around us, telling us, oh, this person thinks that person doesn't like me, that person thinks that I have a big nose, that person thinks that I'm nice, that person really likes me, maybe they're weird, why do they like me so much? So our mind is constantly just talking and talking and talking. And for some people, not all people, but for some people, the words and the language and the ideas and the thoughts that mind comes up with are not always helpful for somebody to have a healthy self-image of themselves. And oftentimes, the language of our minds is actually built and created when we are younger in our lives, whether that's through experiences that happen with us or whether that's through experiences that happen through the world that we observe growing up. So if we have parents or if we have friends, whoever it might be when we're young, then we also will learn from the language they use with themselves, and we will internalize that, and that would be part of our psyche and be part of how we present ourselves in the world growing up. However, even people that do grow up in an environment that is very positive and very helpful for their personal development, there is also an aspect where they might not be 100% comfortable in their own skin. And the reason being is because we don't know who we really are as people. How can I be comfortable in my own skin 100% if I don't know who I am? If I'm going and need to speak on stage at work in front of 100 people, and I've had an amazing life, and I've had supportive parents and supportive family, and everything is amazing, I still might feel scared. The reason being is because we can notice a discrepancy between who we're presenting ourselves as and between who we really are. So who we present ourselves as is a story we tell to ourselves, right? Like, I am this worker in this job, in this career, talking about this topic, talking about global investment flows between market X and market Y. But deep down inside, we know that I'm a person that loves to run or loves to sing or loves to spend time with my family, or I love to play basketball or football. So there's a very big discrepancy between who we're presenting ourselves as and who we actually are. And beneath that person that's saying that I'm a person that loves this and that is an actual truth, right? The labels we use in this three-dimensional world are a portal. They are a description for an actual deeper truth. Because when we say that I'm actually a person that loves to, sing or run or play basketball or just spend time with my family, what I'm actually saying is that I am a person that is basically fundamentally loving awareness. I'm a person that dwells all the time in truth. I am my higher self. I am my higher consciousness. And it is only when we are able to just relax and realize that there is such a thing as a higher consciousness, there is such a thing as our higher self, there is such a thing as that space within us that we can experience, that our journey of actually being comfortable in our own skin can start. I can tell you, you want to be comfortable in your own skin, then there are many levels, right? Level 1 would be, if you've had a difficult upbringing or a difficult childhood or whatever, then go to therapy. Great. That's level 1, right? It's important. It's very important. But it's not deep. It's not deep enough. It's not the deepest level, at least, because there are other aspects of actually really being comfortable in your own skin. There are other conditionings that are in our system and in our body and in our mind beyond Freudian psychology, beyond Jungian psychology, beyond postmodern or modern psychology. I mean, I would say Jungian, let's keep it on the side, because Jung was an amazing human being. So was Freud, but still you get the point. So when we are able to relax and say to ourselves, you know what, I'm presenting myself in the world differently than who I actually am, then the journey begins, because then we can actually start exploring who we actually are. And that journey will be very different for each and every human being around this world. Some people might read books, right? And the literature that they want to read might be very different than other people. Other people might want to travel. Other people might just want to leave everything behind and, I don't know, go to a cave and become a monk and just meditate. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you have the intention, you have the taste to actually discovering who you are. Who are you really? I'm asking you, this beautiful human being that's watching this video, who are you really? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Have you ever woken up in the morning and wondered to yourself, what is it you're doing in this world? Who are you really? Because the real secret to living a life where you're fully comfortable in your own skin is to answer the question of who you actually are. And the only way to answer the question of who you actually are is to go on a journey of self-exploration. And that does not necessarily need to be a luxury. It does not necessarily mean that you need to leave your job and leave your family and leave your life. But it means that you need to have an authentic intention within your heart to constantly return to that space within you, that space of mindfulness, that space of truth, that space of self-reflection, that space that allows you to self-reflect, so that you can ask yourself this question constantly. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And at some point, the more you do this, the more you fumble, the more you struggle a bit, the more you will get answers, the more you realize that your answers maybe were not right, were not true. The more you dig, eventually you start settling down in a space where you can experience true peace. And I can come here and lecture you and be like, that is your true nature. You are true peace. But it's actually kind of silly for me to say that, because that is not your nature. You need to find that answer for yourself. I cannot describe what your nature is, but what I can say is that genuinely there is a space of stillness. There is a space of constant peace that is accessible to each and every human being in this planet. And that space is very much connected and related to our true nature, to who we really are. So if you want to be comfortable in your skin, then what better way could you aim for than to discover that space and to live in that space, and then to build a life where this space is the foundation. Now, the problem is we cannot go and listen to people say things like this and build a life around stillness. We cannot skip steps. We have to actually discover that stillness, because that won't work. That's just escape. That's just bypassing. And with escape and bypassing, things are going to fall apart eventually, because our conditioning is going to come out. It's going to knock on our door and we're going to lose our shit. We're going to get angry, or we're going to get sad, or we're just going to collapse. It's not sustainable. The only sustainable way to build a life around peace, a life where we can truly be connected with our true selves, authentic selves, and truly be comfortable in our own skin, the only way to do that is to go on a journey of self-discovery. And again, that does not mean we need to leave everything behind. That does not mean I'm in Dubai, so I just got a missile warning. That does not mean we need to leave everything behind. Whoever is watching this video, I don't want to talk a lot and I don't want to lecture a lot. I'm nobody to lecture anyone. I can only share my honest, authentic truth and my honest, authentic experience in my own life. But I genuinely hope that you will consider reflecting, consider going on this journey, consider reading, writing, expressing, connecting, discussing with your friends. Consider scratching below the surface, just a little bit below the surface of your apparent awareness, so that you can genuinely live a life where you're comfortable in your own skin and where you can show up every day with that peace, with that stillness in your heart, but also be fully engaged and fully yourself with all the good things and all the bad things, because that is the greatest blessing that we can aim for in our lives. In future videos, I would really love to talk about so many other topics, but for today, I'm going to leave it at that. Whoever you might be, wherever you might be in this world, I genuinely hope with all my heart that you find peace, that you find truth, that you find presence, and that realization takes you to the most beautiful experiences and the most beautiful places in your life.